The blood surged until my fingertips buzzed, the hotel key card trembling in my hand as my sister blocked the doorway. From inside the gleaming Grand Azure lobby, laughter, my father's unmistakable roar, rippled outward. That lobby, the one I had envisioned and designed, the hotel that bore my ownership. Yet here I stood outside like a salesman no one wanted at the door. "You can't honestly believe you're coming in," Vanessa whispered, her words dipped in syrupy disdain. Adjusting her designer dress, fake, but unmistakably copied from sketches my friend had shown me just last week, she planted herself more firmly in the grand entrance. "This is the Grand Azure, Ellie. The tasting menu costs more than you make in an entire month." If she only knew I had written that menu myself, alongside our Michelin-starred chef. "He's my father, too," I said, surprised by the calm weight in my own voice. Inside my clutch, the slim envelope holding the deed to a Tuscan villa, one of the Grand Azure's crown jewels, suddenly pressed down heavy as stone. "My name is Eleanor. I'm 38 years old, a hospitality entrepreneur. And what you're about to hear is the story of how I reclaimed the seat at a table that had always been mine. Mom and Dad were very clear," Vanessa continued, checking her reflection on the glass doors as though they were a mirror made for her. "They want only successful people here. People who won't humiliate the family." The irony hit me so hard it nearly stole my breath. Yesterday, I had authorized a $100 million expansion for the Grand Azure brand. Yet today, I was apparently considered too shameful to step foot into my own hotel. The absurdity was almost funny enough to make me laugh aloud. 10 years earlier, when I had chosen to walk away from the family's sleepy accounting firm and chase hospitality management, they had practically cast me out. My father's declaration still rang in my mind. No daughter of mine will end up a glorified waitress. So I'd let them believe it. Let them gossip about how I must be scraping by managing restaurants. Meanwhile, if she followed the same path you did and stayed in the family business, everything would have turned out differently. That business, now tucked into a modest office in one of my downtown properties, could barely scrape together rent each month. My property manager sent me regular updates, not just for them, but for every tenant. My own family's struggling operation was just another line in those reports. At that moment, Gavin, my brother-in-law, showed up, tugging on his tie like it was a badge of honor. "What's taking so long?" "Everyone's waiting." He stopped mid-sentence when he spotted me. His face went slack. "Eleanor, didn't expect you here." "Clearly," I replied evenly. My mother jumped in, her pride practically glowing. "Gavin's just been promoted to vice president at his bank." "Assistant vice president," I corrected automatically. I knew his actual title. My financial team tracked every bank we worked with, including his. Some of my smaller accounts were run through his branch. "Still," my sister Vanessa cut in sharply, "it's more impressive than whatever you're up to." "What is it now?" "Shift manager at some fast food place." I thought back to the board meeting I'd left earlier this morning. We were finalizing the acquisition of, ironically enough, Gavin's bank. The paperwork was probably still sitting on my desk upstairs in my private office. "Something like that," I murmured. "This is absurd," my mother snapped. "Eleanor, just leave. You're causing a scene. I'll tell your father you couldn't make it." "You mean couldn't afford it?" Vanessa added, smiling with a sting that wasn't as sharp as she thought. I let my eyes wander past them, through the sweeping entryway of the hotel I had designed brick by brick. The marble floors were mine. The glittering crystal chandeliers, hand-selected. Even the paintings on the walls, pieces I personally sourced. Every single inch belonged to me. For a moment, I almost stepped aside. Let them have their evening. "I never realized you were connected to Robert Thompson, and here we've been attempting to meet with you for months about that loan. Eleanor happens to be the owner of the Grand Azure." Thomas Anderson chimed in, astonished. "Unbelievable, Robert. Your daughter is the elusive CEO behind all the prime real estate acquisitions around town." My father slumped against the chair, his face paling. "All this time we assumed you were nothing more than a fancy waitress," I said with a lifted brow. "That was your phrasing, wasn't it?" "The day I walked away from the family company to follow my path in hospitality." "Why on earth didn't you tell us?" my mother demanded, clutching her strand of pearls like they were keeping her upright. "Would you have trusted me?" I murmured. When I needed encouragement a decade ago, none of you had any faith. Why should I parade my achievements now for people who only count value in dollar signs? Though I let a small pause linger, by your own standard, I appear to outweigh everyone in this room combined. Vanessa dropped into a chair nearby, her face bleached of color. The villa in southern France. The one I couldn't book last summer, that was yours? Correct, I answered calmly. My property manager accidentally forwarded me your reservation request, not realizing the connection. Then my gaze shifted to Gavin. Similar story with the office building your firm is clawing to secure tenants for, and the resort membership you've been stuck on the wait list for, mother. Eleanor, my father attempted, his voice shaky. Don't, I silenced him with a raised hand. I never intended this revelation to wound you. Although you've left me with plenty of scars, I revealed it because I'm finished downplaying who I am just to protect your pride. Turning toward the gathering, I announced, please, enjoy the evening. Everything you see is free of charge. After all, this is my house. I started to leave, then stopped with a final glance at him. And father, remember that envelope Vanessa refused to let me hand you? Inside is the deed to a villa in Tuscany. It belongs to me, and now, as a birthday present,